It is time.
I bet you were.
I was.
Dude, that the color changing like immediately takes me back to Korea, like circa like 2003 working town patrol, when you like walk into like all the little bars and like the side streets down like Aragon Alley, you know, like the like karaoke bars. They're like, oh, come in, come in. You're like, no. And then town patrol, like all the little 19-year-olds are like, you know, running away.
And that was when it was on Guam. You knew like there's all these massage parlors, and the ones that had like colorful Christmas lights, the windows were the ones you didn't go to.
And it's fucking July.
Yeah.
I'm still brushing a beard, guys. We're still getting camera ready.
No, the camera's rolling. I hit record early to try to catch Fifi setting his lights up, and it's why we're laughing. Welcome to High Alpha Hooligans. Welcome, Hooligans. We're back again. I'm Scud. We got Jimmy Chaos. We got Fifi looking all sexy there.
And
and we're back, and we're this episode we're going to talk about. Do you even lift, bro?
Do you even lift? Oh my gosh!
The four fans of freedom. Fifi's been waiting to record this episode.
I am
ever since he was a little kid.
This dude's like
itchy.
Dude, ever since the first day of High Alpha Hooligans, this guy's the four fans of freedom. And then Scott and I were like, yo, what time are we recording? He's like, oh, are we actually recording that one?
I mean, I'm in the middle of like trying to like start scripting out the Christmas episode, the Hooligan holiday special.
Yes, stay tuned for the Hooligan holiday special. Oh my God.
It's going to be so good.
We've been sending stuff back and forth, and it is good. Like,
it's gonna be
like,
so good.
If you're operating a motor vehicle, when you like get some of the like the little previews, like you have to pull over safely, you know, to a designated parking area, and you just like bust a gut, and you have to like clear it, and then you can consume or continue driving.
It would also be a good idea if you're listening on an audio only source to tune in on YouTube for that one, because I think it'll be worth the YouTube watch.
But as of 10 p.m. Central Time Sunday night, I still haven't gotten the video from the turn-ins, the homework assignments from 9line and Wags. So calling you guys out.
Calling you out.
Calling you guys
out.
All
right. First off, let's recognize the sponsor. Fox 3 Managed Solutions. Luck.
Love you.
We love you. Where's Jimmy? My tiramisu?
Yeah. Hope you're having a good time on your trip. Jimmy wanted to talk about Fox 3 servers for a second.
I do. So,
do that.
Everybody, we like DCS. We like to fly with our homies. One thing we learned talking with Wags is the majority of people fly single player, which is absolutely bonkers to me because everything is better with a friend. If you
like Jimmy said on a past episode, you do that because you hate yourself.
Yeah. If you fly by yourself, it's because you hate yourself and you don't enjoy DCS.
That's
so. Oh my gosh. I got another story. I'll come back to it circle around.
Oh,
but so if you have the desire to fly with people and you get confused with opening ports, or you don't want to be bothered with opening ports, or building missions because Fox 3 comes with missions, or setting up SRS or TacView or Olympus or all that stuff, Fox 3 literally does all of that stuff for you. Everything is done for you. You give them money, they give you a server, and it is literally one click, and all three of us can do it, which is a miracle because sometimes we don't even know how to operate a light with one button that cycles through, red, green, blue. And if you use the discount code Hooligans26, you get 10% off for the lifetime of your server.
And the servers that they offer have gotten so much better over time as well. They used to be, and we have a whole episode where we talked to Luck about this, but they used to be on machines at his house. They're all cloud-based with massive upload-download speeds.
8 gigs.
And also, for Christmas, surprise, we're going to be sponsoring 3 free months on a Fox 3 server, the lowest level, because but we'll be sponsoring 3 free months on a Fox 3 server. Luck, I finally managed to convince Luck to let us do that, and
Pick your
we're going to
friends
be giving
wisely.
away. Yeah, we're gonna give away 3 free months on a Fox 3 server for you to try it out yourself. If the money's been an issue, you literally have no more excuses, because I will.
Yep.
we're
3
gonna go
months
into
free, and
3
then
months.
after you realize how awesome it is, you use our discount code. Buy
And,
the rest.
yep. And so if you guys just comment, like, subscribe down below, we'll pick a winner, and you guys will get 3 months free after the new year.
How about just comment, I want a server.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
comment,
I want a server.
comment, comma, like, comma, subscribe. Don't go in the
Yeah.
comments and comment, like, subscribe. Somebody's going to do that now. Also,
But they told me to.
our partners, Eagle Dynamics, they've been awesome with us. They're helping us a lot with content, with Wags coming on, and which was an awesome
Yeah,
episode.
that was wild. 200 and how many thousand views?
I think 14 last I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming up on 220. Heat Blur,
That was
Granelli Designs, DCS for Disabilities, and
love you guys.
and yeah, a quick shout out. So I got a phone call from a close buddy of mine who is watching us, or let me rephrase that, listening to us consistently since we've probably started this on Spotify. And he texted me, and then eventually we talked about it on the phone that I get a text and he says, "You're my 3rd most listened to podcast on Spotify. ... No thanks." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Well, apparently there's all these podcasts on Spotify, and at the end of the year, their top listeners get like a little thank you message or a thank you for listening. I had no idea. I don't know how to do that. Most of our content's on YouTube. But to Caleb, thank you for listening. So instead of a thank you note on Spotify, you get a shout out. He's an awesome dude.
I guess I can go into the Spotify and look.
I've only downloaded one of our episodes on Spotify and the Apple podcast.
Yeah.
I just go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Dude, we're missing out on so many views within the 3 of us. Podbean, we could be downloading all of our stuff.
I know. We could be adding 6 more views or 3 more views to each
that's
platform.
like 20. That's like 26.
Now I gotta
26
go
downloads across all 13.
All right.
Now I gotta go
focus.
look, because we actually had
Go ahead.
Focus.
no, because I always like looking at like where we're like the most popular countries that listen to us on these distribution.
Germany.
That's
India.
always a big God.
All right. While he's looking that up, I'm going to talk about something else so that there's at least some noise on here. Dogfight tournament. So the High Alpha Hooligans have joined forces with the Mover and Gonki show, and we are together hosting a dogfight tournament for charity on the 27th of December. The time will be, we'll let you know what time if you want to watch. It'll be live, hopefully both on our YouTube channel, but it'll be on the Mover and Gonki YouTube channel. If you fly and you want to fight, sign up. We'll put a link in this video at the bottom so that you guys can see where to sign up. You don't have to be the world's greatest dog fighter. This is for charity. It's for St. Jude Children's Hospital. So come fly so that we can get viewers, so that we can get people to donate money. If you don't want to fly, tune in and watch and donate money, and all the money goes to charity.
Listen,
there's the Dogfight Brothers Fight for Hope tournament.
There's 2 things here. If you don't fly, you hate kids that are sick. And then your option B to redeem yourself is to donate. If you donate, you can prove that, you don't hate kids that are sick. So if you don't fly, if you don't donate, you hate kids that are sick. So you got 2 opportunities to prove that you don't hate kids that are sick. So
I would
say that's valid.
Yep.
I'd love to see the people flying get like people to pledge for them. You remember like the school, remember back in school where people pledge for you for the, like how fast you can run the mile or how many laps you can
get
do.
everybody to pledge like $20 for every merge that you advance through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good idea.
So top countries we're listened to across all platforms. The US, of course. Australia in number 2.
Oh, good day,
Third
mate.
place, Canada.
Oh.
Fourth place, United Kingdom. Fifth place, Sweden.
Ah,
Well, that's way better than like back when we first started this.
India. Thank you.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that was rough.
Not rough. I mean, everybody in India, thank you. We actually
Sure.
start. Yeah, I mean, we've actually
The guy-
had winners.
Yeah, the
For
guy who
our-
won the
The MetaQuest 3, India.
yeah, he's from
Wow.
India.
15,000 sub.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're at 17.3 now. So subscribe. Let's see if we can get people to help push us to 20,000.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Please.
All right. So I'm trying to think of crap to talk about just to not talk about the Herc, just to see.
No,
if it
let's
drives
go.
Fifi nuts,
Hercules
but-
time. Let's go.
But we're gonna have to do it. 'Cause
Hercules time, boys.
We're gonna have to finally give in and
Putting the feet up. Let's go. Feet are up. We're in recline mode.
the
We're in
four
podcast mode.
fans of freedom.
I need to get the mic to the couch, to the podcasting couch.
Ooh, the casting couch.
Podcasting couch, dude.
You know, if you didn't
right.
live so far,
Let's just jump into some topics and talk about it. First off, I think before we get to the specifics, let's just
To be
Make it clear.
specific.
that this is an entirely different direction for DCS.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
even
agreed.
the other like cargo hauling modules, the Chinook, the Hip,
Huey.
Huey, the Blackhawk free mod, all of those have weapon systems and are much more tactical.
Well, the 130 does have weapon systems. You
Not
can run out the back as a loadmaster with an M4 and start shooting
yeah,
stuff.
That has the
You
Moab
can.
also.
but
Yeah.
in general, it's quite a departure from what we normally see in DCS, and
Yep.
so that's going to kind of guide some of the gameplay about this. Thoughts on that, Fifi? Before we get into specifics of it,
It is I don't think mission makers, and even though like there was quite a few of the larger mission makers and the larger groups, or I guess the larger personalities, had access to it to start prepping for it. Of course, like surprise, surprise, Gray Flag figured it out first with everybody and got their stuff like updated first because
Gray Flag.
yeah, because Grayson and Grimes
Well,
are
I
just
mean,
like evil
Grayson is
geniuses
the
over
shit.
there.
So I mean,
Yeah, because they're just evil geniuses over there, always figuring stuff out. But I think a lot of people, I think it has started to bring over the the Microsoft Flight Simulator crowd, which is really cool to see them come over.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of servers are having an issue trying to figure out how to use it, and I think DCS's systems aren't quite ready for it.
They're getting
They
there.
weren't quite ready for it because of like the spawning the vehicles in, and then like how people run their campaigns now, because we're so used to just like zerging CTLD units out there instead of maybe having a set amount of units now that the Herc that are pre-spawned that the Herc has to shuttle out to places or something. That might be an interesting way of doing things. But overall, I think it's really cool. It'll be really fun to watch people continue to figure out how to integrate it into the game.
It's a logistics platform, right? I mean, yeah, you can go drop a Moab in a permissive environment, but it's a logistics platform, and so you need to have a logistics heavy scripting setup on your server to be able to use it on servers online. I'd be really interested to see what kind of content is going to come out on the single player side as far as campaigns.
I would.
I have a campaign that I am like ready to beg Jimmy for, but I don't know how popular it's going to be because of how niche it is. But I would love to see a Coast Guard campaign because we have the Huey. There's a Coast Guard livery for the 130, the Elizabeth City Coast Guard.
It's a good looking livery
we can
too.
do ships. We can use the CSAR script. We can plant stuff around on the map where people have to go rescue stuff and shuttle humanitarian aid and all
Stuff.
sorts of stuff. I'm like begging. Look at me. I'm like begging for it.
Also,
But
to the mod
I think
makers
that
out
would
there,
be
you know, what would be another really good one is to put the MAFs firefighting equipment in the back.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Ooh, that would be dope.
Ooh.
So I would.
Yep.
One thing I would say though is it's not even that hard because you said this the scripting, like you did with everything that the Hercules brought about and everything that the warehouse has changed with over the last year. You don't even have to script it anymore because inside the mission editor, you can set up your warehouse with vehicles, bombs, bullets, gas now, and you can.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't
Yeah.
saying that it was difficult in scripting. I'm just saying that you need to
The
have
setup.
a logistics heavy
Yep,
intent
environment
in your
Yeah.
server.
Yep.
That it, like, not to pat us, to brag about ourselves or point ourselves out, but the mission, the campaign that we're just finishing up has been extremely logistics heavy, and there has not been an easy way to push that fight without people hauling bombs, bullets, gas, everything.
What does
So
free call?
you need logistics built into the plan to make good use of it on multiplayer.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Continue.
3D model.
It looks great. It looks great. All through testing, because now that we can talk about it.
Yes, we have been flying this for like the last 4 months.
All through testing, like, man, like I was like, is this damage model going to catch up? And then all of a sudden, like at the very end, it appeared in the testing module. But the damage model looks really good. You get shot up and you get holes in the aircraft. It's not surprisingly. I mean, I guess it's surprisingly for a lot of people, but not for people who have like flown on it and flown in combat on it. It's an extremely tough aircraft. You can get that thing shot to shit and
resilient.
Yeah. So that was really cool to fly with. And the 3D model, like it's a lot of fun stuff. Like little things like the Husky ladders in the back stacked on the sides.
Yeah, I think
when you flip the rollers up and over on the cargo bay.
Yeah, I think the 3D model is gorgeous outside and the cockpit looks really good, but the back end of that aircraft is where we see stuff that we don't normally get to see in DCS, and that is all the little details that went into the cargo bay. And then the Loadmaster station right down the stairs from the flight deck. We were just flying it a couple hours ago, and I was standing at the Loadmaster station, and just the things you're not supposed to notice that create an immersive environment. I was looking at all the avionics boxes and all the wire bundles and the wire bundle clips and connectors and how much detail was gone into all of this stuff that you can see under the cockpit that you would not normally care about or see. It's a lot of love into the tiny details on this thing.
Yep. So
yeah, and then Scott also made a request. So if anybody can go in and figure out where to change the sticker in the back in that Loadmaster station where it says like the C-130J and it's a little Hercules, Scud wants a request of my pinup on that sticker.
That pinup, Fifi pinup sticker right there on the Loadmaster station.
Because I knew Glue and a couple other guys have changed. Like, there's a picture of me and Glue when he came down here and we went to the Naval Air Museum.
Yeah,
and I was sitting in the back of the aircraft and he changed the picture in the sky in the A4 to like my face, like doing the disappointed look face.
The whole time he's flying, he's looking at you.
Yeah.
I would say if somebody somewhere is listening, I would love to have a folder somewhere inside of save games under C-130 where you can put like a JPEG or a PNG, and then somehow it just magically shows up to where you could throw in stickers from like patches, because Hercules are tagged freaking
there's that
everywhere.
Yeah.
And maybe somewhere in the back, you could throw stickers up, and
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Dude, you could personalize that thing with like patches or stickers, or that would be super duper dope. Next level. That brain light just turned on.
Jimmy just pulled a Scud. He said Hercules in the back is too clean. It's not enough stickers all over.
So hold on. So let me. So 3D model. I want to talk about that because I spent a lot of time in C-130s, like a lot of time, and I would say it is absolutely. I don't want to use the word perfect, because I don't think everything can always be better, but it is really, really. The first time, like I put my VR on and I like sat there. And I just looked around. I was like, this thing looks good. Like, everything is appropriately scuffed. Like, walking in, throwing freaking bags, across the flight deck. Like, you can see the scuff marks and the paint. You can see where shit gets drug across the back. You can see where bird strikes were across the the radome. Like, it freaking looks like it should. I think the 3D model is nailed really well.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it is. And in a way that they're starting to incorporate maybe in the future with some other DCS stuff, but the fact that you can, as the Loadmaster, get out and walk around.
Yes.
And get a close-up look without having to F4 and move the camera
and interact with it too, right? Because we can F4 and WASD, but like Loadmaster that shit and walk around, like, hey, prop 1 clear, start 1,
just don't walk into the prop while it's spinning, because it will kill your Loadmaster.
If it's your first time, you can do it though. Don't worry about it. Scott just messing around.
But Scott also found that we found out tonight that Scott also found the door controls work in the back as
the
well.
Loadmaster station. The door controls are now working. They weren't when we were testing, but that's working.
I want to check one thing that is supposed to be working now. I didn't check is the manual controls, because there's a handle in the back on the left side. So there's it looks like Bottle Jack, how it has that stupid like 2-foot thing. You go. So there's a manual control on the pump, and you go to manual.
There we go.
So on the back on the ramp on the controls, there's a manual. There's a manual select, and you hit it to manual select, and you grab your little pump, and you go to the hydraulic pump right there, and you go, and then you either go raise or lower, and then you manually can raise or lower the ramp, and that is supposed to be in there. I don't know if it's.
We have to go try that out now.
Yeah, because I know had a conversation one time, and that was supposed to be on there one time. So
other cool things on the 3D model, like this is where things like I said, the little details like the Canon plugs and connectors on the avionics equipment, little things like that. And I have spent time just walking around in the cargo bay looking at all the little details of all the equipment that's hanging up. But there's other things that are part of that too, like the little windows to check the jack screws on the main gear. You can actually see the main gear moving through those windows, which is something you could go back and check if you were worried about a gear problem. Same with the window. You can kind of see in the window for the nose gear. Mm-hmm. And then you get so wrapped up in being in the HUD and looking forward and flying. And then every once in a while in VR, I'll turn around and look over my shoulder and I'm like, oh shit, this is like a huge flight deck compared to everything else in DCS. And you could totally forget there's all this space behind you until you turn around and look at it. And if you haven't jumped back there in the flight engineer seat, which is one of my gripes on this, you got this flight engineer seat and it's sitting over here. But when you go into that position, you're just hovering in the middle, but too far back from the panel to do anything. And that seat
I can't squat that long.
Up.
I can't squat that long. Like
the seat should slide up so that you can interact, because there's a third CNI, a third FMS system that you'd have another person helping with. But when you're back there, if you click on the button for the microwave, the door opens. Like, they've gone into excruciating detail. I think one of my favorite 3D model effects or things in this entire airplane, one, the HUD looks gorgeous looking through it, but even more so, and I don't know how they pulled this off to look to work this well, but the sun visor. If you have a sunny day through clouds and you look at it without and then with the sun visor, it looks like you're looking like it. The clarity is like you're looking through a really nice sun visor, and it's just such a little detail. Something that's just over on the side, almost insignificant, but it is so well modeled.
Yeah, the sun visor is really cool. And then
just
like
the way it looks through it, the clouds.
So speaking of clicking on things and being able to mess with things, you can click on the intercom cable that's hanging behind the pilot and co-seats, and it'll wiggle around. You'll jiggle the intercom cable. That's
it's like clicking on the safing and unsafing your M4 in the Apache.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Yeah, and there's a lot of really cool stuff on it. As far as the 3D model goes.
How about the noises?
Sound modeling's really good.
It sounds good. Like, I live literally directly off the flight line of a base that only flies C-130s, and like sometimes I can't tell if that's one flying overhead or if I'm in the game. Like, it's
internal and external audio is absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
like 100%.
When it gets super loud when you drop the ramp in flight, or things like that. I wonder if everybody's figured out that you got to open up the crew door in order to talk to ground crew to rearm refuel it. But you got to open up the crew door on the side, the air stairs. But yeah, I think overall the 3D model I think it's a hit. Didn't miss on that one. That's about as good as you can get it.
Yeah.
You looking good.
Let's move from that to flight model then.
The airplane.
Few gripes about the flight model. I
Okay.
think it flies really well. It does feel like a big plane, and like when you really have to crank around on that yoke a lot to get it to really roll and do everything you want, and then it flies. It definitely translates really well about how powerful the J model is. I hear everybody bitching about how they don't have JATO rockets on it, and I'm like, because it's not supposed to have JATO rockets. I'm gonna say it again for everybody in the back. It doesn't have JATO rockets, and that's because the new J model motors put out more power than the H models did with JATO. So
BP.
period. You don't need JATO.
Here's your quiz. You ready, Mr. 4 Fans of Freedom fanatic?
Hit me.
Visually, how can you tell the difference? Just looking at it, how can you tell the difference between an H and a J model?
Well, besides the motors being different and the props, an H model is also a shorty model, and the J models.
What do
J
you mean?
models. It's a shorty.
How
So
do you tell a shorty?
There's two lengths. There's two lengths on the new J model C-130s. Two lengths. There's the Super Hercules, which is what we have, which is the J30, and then there's the regular J model Hercules, which is the quote unquote shorty now. The shorty model, the crew doors meet the ramp at the back. The stretch model has an extra 15 feet in front of the wings, but also the crew door or the paratrooper door in the back does not meet exactly at the crux where the ramp begins. There's a little bit of space back there. And that's how you tell the difference.
Go look at
Is there another one?
H models, the windows are shaped differently, and then with J's, there's always at the paratrooper door, there's always distance between that and the ramp.
Yep.
H models was always door ramp, and then J's
because-
there's always a ramp position between door and ramp.
Right
And props
on the new stretch.
Yeah, don't look at the props. Props can change.
And for the record, you calling him a
Yeah,
shorty,
sure.
but a buddy of mine, I was
not
talking to
shorty.
a buddy of mine about
It's not a
he
shorty.
was a
It's
C-130J
the
guy,
No.
and yeah, they call the long one the stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the stretch.
So
There's the shorty is really the H, because the H is straight paratroop door ramp.
to the ramp, right?
Yeah.
Because that was if you really want to get like Nat's ass, like different Hercules models, the Talon 2 H model was my absolute favorite because I loved that big ugly nose on the front of it. That to me, that's the epitome of a combat aircraft, is those things. But
All right, so flight model, like you said, big airplane.
yeah,
And it flies like a big airplane. One of the things that I thought was overdone was the amount of yaw with throttle. I figured with 4 turboprops, it wouldn't yaw that much when you add power, take power away. But again, talking to buddies that have flown it, he was saying, yeah, like it's like that. You tie your right hand is tied to your feet, and every time you move the throttles, you're stepping on rudder. So originally, when we were testing it, I was like, this is way too much. No, apparently it's not. It's also hard to slow this thing down. Big airplane style.
It's slick. It's slick, man. It definitely likes to stay fast. Another thing that I kind of have a complaint about is it tends to wander quite a bit when you're approaching with, especially like full flaps. If you keep your approach a little bit faster than what it's supposed to be, it deadens out. But when you're doing like a slow approach, like you're in that 117 knots full flaps approach, even when you set the power like you're supposed to, because you're not supposed to be yanking the power around on it, but it wanders a little much.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
I'm not saying it shouldn't wander, because it's got 16,000 horsepower of spinning blades that's just torquing the shit out of that airframe, but I don't think it should wander that much and wiggle and waggle back and forth.
Well, so DCS I don't know that it does crosswinds super well. I think the crosswinds do push the airplane, and some of the airplanes it does feel right, but
Yeah, we
but
found
this
that out
airplane
earlier.
has got such a side profile that I feel like the crosswind effectiveness on the side of the airplane is just maybe a little bit overcooked, particularly when you land it. I mean, that's a heavy airplane and it plants, and then if you're not really careful with staying on the center line and crosswind controls in a crosswind landing, it'll want to pick the plane up and tip it onto its wingtip, which is not normal. So I think that's just the crosswinds being way more effective on the side of the airplane than they should be. I'm wondering if that has something to do with the wandering on final. Maybe not.
Yeah. And then of course we were flying it exactly how we were doing everything that we weren't supposed to be doing with it when we were taking off earlier. And we had that 17 knot quartering tailwind on it, but had zero rudder authority.
Yeah.
And we were fighting the tiller and the rudder at the same time. And
yeah, let's talk about that, because that sucks.
The tiller, yeah, it's rough.
All right. It's weird to me that the C-130J rudders don't move the nose wheel, but you have to use the tiller. So you're using the tiller to maintain center line on takeoff and landing. And eventually you're fast enough that you have rudder authority and that'll take over. But it's this really, for me in DCS, this really difficult moment where you're trying to keep it on center line with the tiller, but then you're trying to center the tiller because now you have rudder authority. And the older C-130s, the nose wheel turned with the rudders, but I don't think the C-130J does. And it's just an odd decision, I think, from Lockheed. But that makes it what should be not a hard airplane to take off and land, for me, is a damn hard airplane to take off and land, because it's like I'm trying to pat my head and rub my belly at the same time and chew gum and walk during the takeoff roll. It's difficult. That though, go ahead.
You know what I did for that? I have a Logitech steering wheel that I put beside my rig.
You have a big tiller.
That's fair. Well, another trick you can do.
Not even joking. I drug a coffee table in and screwed it up to the down this there. Like,
another trick you could do is to help with the tiller issue, because I think another issue Scott and I were talking about how is the tiller is extremely sensitive, and the next thing you know, you're scrubbing tires. You're scrubbing the front wheel around, and it won't turn on the ground unless you're exactly perfect with your tiller input. It almost feels like it's super light on the nose wheel and not heavy enough on the nose wheel. In hindsight now, I think I'm going to start trying to see if I can just start cramming a bunch of cargo forward in the bay to see if that will help put some more weight on the nose wheel. But that's what it feels like.
I think so. I think what it is, I think it's modeled well, but I think what it is, it's a axis limitation that we have, because I think a lot of us use our TDC slew. So we have like
I have a lever. I can fine tune that thing, and it still does that. That's probably my biggest gripe about this whole airplane is the ground handling.
Yeah.
One thing I did to help out is I got the because I have it on my TDC slew, and one thing I did do was I turned my saturation down to like 50% on that on my tiller axis, and that helps a lot.
Yeah,
like that's
when I threw the steering wheel up, like that solved everything for me.
Not everything. Here's my gripe on the ground handling. These are things I'm going to talk about that I don't like. I don't like them about this module. So I'll make that clear. I don't like that the throttles idle is not an idle on your throttles. If you go to idle, it goes in reverse. And it goes in reverse and then rips the nose up in the air and slams the tail on the ground. It would be so much nicer if idle was idle, and then we could have a HOTAS button that would let us activate reverse.
You can. There is under the special menu.
I'll have to go take a look now.
So we use that one.
There's the ground mode and non-ground mode, but that's now not working right. If you want to switch from ground mode to non-ground mode, it only activates if you go full. You have to go all the way full power and back to get it to click in. I'm just saying it would just be nice if idle was idle, and then reverse was something you activated with a button. But the other ground handling,
like the Anubis mod,
like the Anubis did,
yep.
If you if you turn this airplane with the tiller, if you turn the nose wheel too fast, it'll just drag the nose wheel and it'll skid forward. That's fine. That you're too fast to crank the nose wheel over. But if you're at a nice controllable speed and you turn that tiller to try to do a nice sharp turn, it just grinds to a halt. And then there are times where I'm not even full turned on the tiller. I'm like 45 degrees, 50 degrees on the nose wheel. And I have to use full power on the outboard engines to try to get this plane to do a turn. And I've watched C-130s do sharp turns without using full power. And it feels like there's this moment in the nose wheel where you're like, I can turn. And right here, it just stops. The plane just goes, nope, I'm not turning. And I don't know how the C-130J handles on the ground. Maybe it handles this way, but I know how airplanes with tillers handle on the ground. And you can do it controlled, nice, slow taxi speeds, full tiller turns, and you can pivot that airplane on one gear, and it's no problem. But the C-130, and I'm sure that it's not as easy to turn because the main wheels are like this. So if you're trying to pivot on those main wheels, you're trying to twist them. But it just seems like there's this moment where it just grinds to a halt, and it makes precise maneuvering of this airplane a nightmare. That's my big gripe. I'm not a fan of the ground handling on the takeoff roll and the landing roll with the way the tiller's implemented. I'm not a fan of how to turn this airplane on the ground in any sort of a tight turn without scrubbing all the speed off or using excessive power. And I'm not a fan of the ground handling with the throttles having to jump through a couple hoops to just go to idle. I'm kind of off my soapbox, but that to me makes this module. In the air, it's great. On the ground, I'm not a fan.
And again, it almost feels like there's not enough weight on the nose wheel. It just feels like the Herc is ass heavy, which it kind of is a little ass heavy, but it just feels like there's not enough weight modeled on the nose wheel, and that's why
you got that junk in the trunk.
Yeah, I want you to start.
All right.
Yeah, we've been cutting you off, but.
No, you guys are good. So where this module is really fun, in my opinion, but that's because I'm a pilot nerd. And this is where it's super different from DCS is
because you like checklist simulator.
It's something you don't get in DCS in multi-crew, in any other multi-crew platform. In every other multi-crew platform, you can either fly it or operate it by yourself, which you can do in the C-130, or the other crew member is doing weapons. It's in the backseat of a Tomcat, backseat of a Strike Eagle, backseat of an F4, front seat of an Apache. But this is not like that. This is a crew airplane, and it's checklist heavy. And you need to run the checklist the right way, because if you don't, you'll catch all four engines on fire the first time you start them. It will punish you for not doing the checklist correctly. Things will not work if you are not setting the systems up, and it's extremely detailed in its systems modeling, extremely detailed. But it's also the flying, right? A crew concept, which is just something that I like. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's how I fly in most of the flying I've done, not all of it. Like having somebody else put the gear up, having somebody else operate your flaps. When you're hand flying the airplane, having somebody else do the flight director stuff, and then working as a crew to wrangle this systems heavy. Now they do have in the checklist, they have added in an option where you can key bind something where your virtual Copilot will read checklist steps off to you. And so that helps you go through the checklist quicker by yourself, but it feels unnatural the way they read them off. There's ways humans do it and the way computer reads it off. But we just did one with me and Fifi where that's all I did. The whole flight was run checklist and switches for him. That was a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun to cooperate to manage a very complex airplane. Totally different from other DCS modules.
Well, it was more like Scott yelling at me because I skipped a step. Or he was like, no, that's supposed to be off, not an auto. I'm like, yeah, but it goes to auto eventually anyways. Just leave it in auto.
That's checklists. It's off now for a reason. We turn it on later. I am a checklist nerd though. So multi-crew is very different. And multi-crew with the Loadmaster, when that fully gets integrated, because not all of the Loadmaster station works, but having somebody at the Loadmaster panel, so while you're flying and dropping cargo, there's an actual Loadmaster there unlocking the cargo and working the ramp and the doors, and
You know, that was cool. Well, and that was the thing, like in testing, you remember how like in testing, which is nice to see it actually come through. Because it's not like any of our feedback was actually making it back to the devs or anything like that, but it was us talking with each other.
We didn't, yeah.
Yeah.
We were supposed to test it, and then we ended up just getting it and flying it and not talking to anybody.
Yeah. But like remember how like the person who spawned in the Copilot seat wouldn't ever be able to like jump back into the loadmaster position, and then Scott shocked the shit out of me because he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm walking around the cargo bay right now." I'm like, "Oh, that works now. Like,
Yeah.
You can do it from the Copilot seat. That's really cool." So that was a nice pleasant surprise with that.
I would like to talk about. We'll let Jimmy kind of talk about the cargo loading logistical system, but I would like to say that it's nice that when you load cargo, you see the cargo, like where it's at, where it's supposed to be, including vehicles. Me and Fifi just loaded up 2 Hummers and airdropped them, and you're back in the cargo bay, and it's got 2 Hummers in there or an Abrams or whatever they put in there.
Even the way you just see it, like when you go to load them, just the way you load it and see it available in the area is done well.
Yeah.
The logistics, loading and unloading is it's complex, but it's much more thorough in how to load it and where you can put the cargo and balance in the CG and seeing the cargo go into where you told it to in the cargo bay. In addition to that, when you load cargo, like if you're going to airdrop, you got to pick which kind of parachute and how many parachutes based on the weight of what you're airdropping so that it airdrops appropriately. As Fifi found in testing, that if you don't put enough parachutes on something like a Hummer, it smashes into the ground really hard and blows up.
Weird.
Yeah, and you cannot, even though like the Bradley technically fits into the back of the 130, it doesn't, but in the game it does. It's too heavy to airdrop. I found that out with Arctic the other day. I was trying to airdrop him with Bradley on the campaign server, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I got a Bradley in the back. Because someone spawned in like 30 Bradleys on Bitburg, and like so, like I had this mass airlift operation.
Yeah, I wonder who that was.
Where everybody's just like running Bradleys up. Is that you, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so everybody's just running Bradleys up with like this mass airlift operation.
But also, coincidentally, all our credits are gone.
Yeah,
no, somebody's like, "Yo, we need like Bradleys." I was like, "All right, we can give you Bradleys." You got to fly in places. I mean, they're free. I mean, mission editor, I can give you whatever you want.
His government credit card and just started charging it.
Yo, GTC fun. Baby.
But so Arctic has been doing like his little mortar team helo hop thing, which is like super fun to watch. But he's like, "Oh man, I wish I had something bigger." I was like, "Oh, I got a Bradley in the back. Let me just drop a Bradley." And so I did like a super quick like carps punch in on it, and I was like, "Dude, I'll drop it in the field right next to you. Let's do this." And then I set it up, and you can put five shoots on it, and I did the G12Ds because the Echoes have the extra vents in them to help them open quicker at low level. They're more like a low level parachute, but I was like, I'm gonna drop them from like 8,500 feet. I got the Delta parachutes on there. I was like, let me see what I can do. And it starts kick it out the back, starts floating down, and it lands exactly where it's supposed to. And he's like, I can't drive it. And I'm like, oh shit. So Bradley is too heavy to airdrop.
Though airdropping is where this module is going to become awesome, especially airdropping in a logistics charged campaign. And yeah, being able to airdrop and actually have the cargo, like have it be a drivable vehicle that you can airdrop, or being able to airdrop stuff and have it be loaded automatically into inventory at an airbase or a FARP. And Fifi walked me through, he's been digging into the CARP system, the computer that does the airdrop. And he showed me today, he's like, all right, we'll build an airdrop. We'll drop these 2 Hummers. And it is, checklist simulator. This is an FMS simulator. This is like the CNI. You're like, all right, go to this page. And he's like, type this in, and then you put this in, and then you put this in, and you put this in. And you, after like 7 or 8 iterations of putting data in, he's like, all right, next page. And then we do it again. Next page. And you're like 5 pages deep. But when it's all said and done, it does give you all the data on your nav radar display. And we went and did the drop. Fifi did the drop. And from the time you hit drop point, you put in the winds, you put in the winds at loft, you put in the winds at the surface, you put in the type of parachute, you put in what the cargo weight is, and it calculates out and says, this is when you need to drop. And it was cool because we shacked. Those 2 Hummers landed exactly in the field that we were planning to drop them on from 10,000 feet. That was really cool to see how accurate it can be if you're willing to get in and learn the system. And so, resupplying a FARP. I mean, airfield's big, land there, but resupplying a FARP and bringing a whole bunch of Hellfires into the Apaches and being able to drop that cargo right on the FARP so that it goes into the inventory. That's going to be cool.
It's not difficult. It's just intensive, and it looks a lot worse than what it is. Like the system tells you exactly what it needs. You just got to
It's just you got to go get all this data.
Yeah, you just got to take the extra 5
time
minutes
to build it.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the biggest thing about the C-130. Like everybody's ready to just jump in and just rip with it, but if you spend the extra 5-10 minutes to do like that one little extra thing, and if you just continually do that and just like, okay, I'm gonna take an extra 3 minutes to learn how to properly build a flight plan, or hey, I'm gonna take this extra 3 minutes to punch in the VOR and the TACANs and understand how I can swap back my nav versions from it, and I can swap back between flying off of my iNav to the VORs to the TACAN or to the pre-planned nav points. That's why the knitter map is one of my favorites, because there's a shit ton of nav points all over it. Or the South America map's really good because there's approaches and departures built into the South America map for a few of the airfields. So if you just take like the extra 5 minutes just to go one level deeper in some of the systems, you'll realize that like you're like, oh my god, like it's a flying iceberg. Like there's, when you jump into the aircraft and then you go one level deeper, you're like, holy shit, I've only been using 10% of the capability of this jet.
Dude, that's like every module. This one times 10, but every module, like I'll learn something that's been in that module forever. I'm like, dude, I've been using a fraction of what I paid for when I got this module, or I'm not even digging past the surface level of how much work they put into this. But the C-130 is like that, like on steroids. Do you even live, bro?
Yep. One thing, Fifi, you said you can throw that thing around. Heard you had a formation situation with a flanker.
That was you. I knew that was you.
I heard about it.
That was you.
What happened?
I knew that was you. No, no. So it was like the first or second night that it came out, and we were doing like our mass airlift operation and just trying to resupply bases, and
to set the stage, we do run a server, and on big nights we have like between like 8 and 15 people live, and there's always cap, and once there's more than 5 people on the server, AI turns off, and you have to provide all services yourself. And there was like 18 C-130s, and we do provide a little bit of breathing red air,
Yep.
And it was all C-130, all 30. Everybody's in C-130s that night.
So kudos to Iron Mike, because everybody but Iron Mike was in that seat. And he was in a Tomcat. He tangled with that flanker like 3 or 4 times until he finally had to until finally the flanker managed to kind of like get through. And Free and I were flying a pair of 130s, and we saw the flanker coming, and I was like, oh, here it comes. So we started running towards another base, and of course the 130 is not fast. The flanker's a lot faster. And
really,
I was ready to get shot down. I was like, we were easily like at 100 foot off the ground.
And I was throwing
I was throwing this like through canyons and around throwing flares out, like straight panic. Like I looked like a fat dude running away from like it was bad, like falling down the stairs, like and then I look out the window and there's a flanker flying like wingtip line abreast with me. Just like I was like, this motherfucker.
What do we do, Mav? Smile and wave. We're on the same team.
And then it just flew off and like waved off. And then I was like, I know that's Jimmy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I immediately jumped on the Discord and I started angry messaging him.
Red Air is sworn to secrecy, dude.
I will.
And you no longer have password access to Red Air, Mister. I can't keep a secret.
I've been flying. I've been flying other stuff anyways.
I also want to say though, for pure eye candy, especially at night, load that thing up with full flares, open the ramp, and then hit the don't punch off flares, but you hit the flare jettison switch where it dumps the full load, and you get the angel of flares behind the airplane.
Dude,
Wow,
even
that's
just
good.
Dude, eye candy at night. Just turn the lights on in the back at night. It looks
Yeah,
true.
the green,
Good.
between the green and white lights
Yeah, dude.
is really cool. And then the covert and the overt lights and the formation lights are really cool.
Yeah. Phoebe, you were talking about building, take the extra 5 or 10 minutes and build all the nav aids and build the carps page. And there is a lot to this module that you can learn about the airplane and use it more realistically. When we were testing it, I was trying to get the nav system and autopilot system. I was trying to figure out how to make it work. And that's kind of like, I was like, oh yeah, like I fly professionally in airplanes with these kind of, advanced autopilots. And then I was so frustrated. I remember describing it to Fifi when we were testing. I was like, this autopilot flies like a student pilot that has no idea what they're doing. Like in ways that are exactly like you'll be just off course, right? Like your CDI is like 2 or 3 degrees off course, and then you arm nav mode and it goes, oh, the course is over there, and the plane banks hard and like overshoots the course, and oh, I overshot it. It starts chasing the course line, and it just does things like the level off when it levels off at altitude. It's like a student pilot where you're like, altitude, and they're like, oh, and they like it bunts the nose over, and they're like, oh, I almost shot through my altitude. The whole time I'm like operating this, I'm thinking, dude, like seriously, I was an instructor pilot, and this is like nav ride 1 for any student where they have no idea what they're doing, and you're constantly keeping them from like getting you violated. That's how the autopilot flies. And I was like, there's no way an advanced airplane like the J model flies like this. And then I was talking to my buddy that flies J models, and I mentioned that to him, and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, when I mentioned what it was doing, his description to me, I'm like, it turns and chases the course, and then it levels off abruptly. And he literally, he's like, oh yeah, dude, it flies like a student who doesn't know what they're doing. Exactly what I thought. It was exactly the same thing I said. He was his same description of it. So I really thought they'd messed it up. And then I find out it's exactly how it is.
It's perfect.
It's a very, very not good autopilot, like nav integration.
Looking at the builder on that one.
Yeah, you kind of gotta fly it exactly to where it is, and then you just let it take over.
A slight nudge.
I will say though, for those of you, I'm spilling water on myself. For those of you out there flying it who maybe haven't gotten into learning these systems with the autopilot, the pitch sync button, control wheel steering button is like how you should be hand flying that airplane. It is like,
too bad it doesn't handle the roll.
It's the only thing it doesn't do roll, but it does, like, you don't have to fight with the autopilot on indicated airspeed or vertical speed climb mode. You can literally you can hold the pitch sync button, put the nose what angle you want, up or down, let go, and it holds it. It's really nice.
Yeah. I need it to hold the roll like that. I just wish it held the roll. And obviously
that's another weird thing, because all the planes I've flown that have a control wheel steering pitch sync button will let you roll as well, but this one doesn't.
Right. So instead you have to go down and hit the lateral button, the lateral override button, and then you can hand fly the left and right, and then while it holds altitude for you.
Yeah,
which that's really nice. So,
it is nice to be able to roll the plane while it holds out at altitude.
For me right now, my heading bug knob is like my most used item, and for the C-130, because I'll set all the autopilots, and I'll just like
yep. Welcome to flying an automated airplane.
Right, I'm like, oh, I never had this in any of the Cessnas that I flew.
Yeah. Or like you said, you build all the waypoints and you put it on nav mode. You just sit back, you kick your feet up, and you watch the plane fly for the next hour.
That's what I've been doing. It's my most productive aircraft, because like when on the campaign server, I'll like make harder runs, and I'm like, I got 300 miles. That's a 45-minute flight in this thing. I was like, I'll tab out and I'll start doing some homework.
I'm gonna go make some pizza rolls.
Dude, I recline my seat, because the next level seat reclines back. I take my VR off, I sit it beside me, I recenter my VR, and I watch the screen, and I mess around on my phone. Put my VR back
you are a true like automated airplane C-130 Hercules pilot. You know, that's what they're doing. You notice the stirrups on the bottom of the instrument panel for their feet. That's what they're doing. They're turning the autopilot on, they're kicking their feet up on the panel. They're pulling their phone out.
I'm playing Angry Birds, dude. I'm going for 3 stars every level.
You are practically a Milsim Hercules aviator right now.
Is that game still out? Angry Birds?
Fuck yeah, it is, dude. Angry Birds Star Wars, best one.
Oh man.
All right, so I have a question for you guys on this now.
Send it.
Staying on topic. C-130 Super Hercules DCS. Overhyped or underhyped?
I think
Based
it's
both on what your expectation and impressions of the module are and what it seems like the community, because there was a ton of content about the C-130 when it first came out, and then it's kind of dried up. I don't know, people flew it and they're like, okay, this is kind of cool, but I want my fast jet again. Or I'm trying to gauge what you think the community feels about this.
I think so. There's 2 parts to that answer. I think that people who had expectation management and they knew that they were getting a U-Haul, I think that those people were appropriate.
That's
isn't it full of rubber dog shit though?
Coming out of China.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a transport aircraft. I think people who saw that coming were fine. People who were like, I'm going to the fucking merge with this thing, AC-130, fucking howitzer, 90-degree offset. I'm gonna
go drop Moabs and get shot down by an SA-8.
I mean, dude, freaking SA-8 man-pad fries that thing. If you're, I mean, it's not an offensive. It's not an offensive aircraft. AC-130 in a permissive environment, yeah, you can fry some ground targets, but that's a very specific environment. It
is.
I mean, so for the people who knew what they were getting and the people who were planning for what they got, so I think ecosystems like Gray Flag, ecosystems like ours, people who were looking for that, study level, the Microsoft Flight Sim people who were looking for those deep dives into systems and things like that, with multi-crew aircraft, because that's something you don't get in Microsoft Flight Sim. I think, that was it exactly hit the mark with the hype. People who were like, freaking JADOs and freaking Moab and AC-130, they're like, like those crazies, like not crazies, but the people who just didn't know what the C-130 was. I think they probably bought it, they flew it once, and they're like, oh, it's low, 230 friggin', So I think it just depended on if you knew what you were getting.
If your thoughts, hyped or overhyped?
That's a hard question.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jimmy on that, and I'm gonna say overhyped, only because of people mismanage their expectations of how to use it. I think the popularity will pick back up once more mission makers and servers start to figure out how to use it.
I want
for
campaigns.
Right now,
I want some reflective campaigns.
Yeah, some reflective campaigns would be really cool for it. I think that's where it's going to shine, because I think for right now, unless you're flying it on either our server or like the Gray Flag server
or something like that, there's servers for days out there.
Yeah, but those are the only 2 that I know of right now, right?
Find the right environment.
Yeah.
Where it fits in.
I don't think people are going to, I think people are going to get bored with it because people don't know how to integrate it into the servers properly. Aside from, the 2 servers that I've flown it on, which is ours and Gray Flag.
I think the majority of the solo players, like the 80% of people who fly by themselves, who just want to go out and have fun.
You guys come hang out on Discord with us and just be friends.
Yeah. But I mean,
this game's way more better with friends.
I think that population of the DCS community, those guys, that population, that group, they were probably easily satisfied because they get to go fly a C-130 and they're, they're taking Bradleys, they're taking IC-90s, they're taking, fuel cards, they're doing everything that they want to do. They didn't have that delusional grandeur of, dropping a Moab on, a hip,
Yep. And Virtual Blue Angels call me. You guys need a J model pilot for your
Fat Albert
for the For the you guys need a fat Autopilot, call me. I will.
I do. So I do. So that's one part I think is underhyped. Because I think its integration into like the demonstration community, I think is underhyped because I think.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
I know. I want to.
Yeah,
I want to see it.
A really good.
I want to see it.
C-130 demonstration team put something together. Here's what I'd like to see with the C-130. Campaign, like, single player, instructional, whatever. A really good, like, somebody who understands and knows what it is, putting together a really good low-level airdrop training sorties. Because that's take off, climb up, fly, en route, descend, land, drop cargo. Airdrop's kind of cool too.
I want to see
airdrop
Iraq,
from a low level.
Afghanistan campaigns from Reflective.
Well, specifically though, low level airdrop.
Yep.
Low level airdrop because you're turning this big airplane down in the low level environment and you're working at it, and that's fun in a C-130. But then the airdrop, the low level airdrop procedure is particular. Like you low level in, you hit an IP, you stay low to not get shot down, and then at a specific time, it's called the pop-up maneuver, where you pitch to a certain attitude, idle, flaps are coming down, and you should time that so that you level off at drop altitude at 140 knots with the ramp open, drop the cargo, and then your safe escape is a diving turn as the flaps come up on your escape maneuver, your exit out of the drop area. And then you do that as a formation. And that's where it gets really fun, because then your communication is really key. Like you're calling out how long till slow down, and then you're like, slow down now. And then both airplanes are climbing together in formation while they're dropping their flaps, both of them leveling off together at 140 knots, dropping and then getting out. It's a lot of fun to do that. But
the only way to pull that, and the only way to pull that off is with a multi-crew. Like, you cannot do that solo.
No, you need multi-crew because it's busy.
Yeah, we tried to do that solo and it didn't work. But as soon as Scott and I hopped in the aircraft together and did it, holy crap, was that one of the coolest things.
Oh, it was so much fun. And then you get a couple crews doing that in formation. That's kind of like, that would be some exciting, fun stuff in the C-130. I do want to backtrack to what you said a minute ago, because Jimmy's talking about the I want my AC-130. I'm in that crowd too. It's not gonna, from what we understand, talking to the dev, that's not going to happen, right? So just temper your expectations. You're not going to get an AC-130 unless somebody mods it. You're not getting one out of the dev on this. That's not on their radar. I think it would be fun. Granted, in most servers you need a permissive environment. I just think it would be fun. I think, unlike the Anubis mod and its AC-130, where you're looking at some fake sites, it would be really cool to multi-crew and have the pilot with his HUD on the target area while people are in the back running the pods and aiming the guns. It would be great. But what we are going to get, just so you guys have something on the horizon, they are going to do what, Fifi?
Combat King.
You want to explain to those out there who are flying the C-130 or thinking about buying it what that brings?
So it is the special operations version of the C-130. So it's going to be a non-stretch model, and this is all allegedly, right? Allegedly, this is what he talked about possibly doing in some numerous outlets with other people that I've seen around. And but if it's true, the Combat King, I'm deleting.
He's salivating right now. He's salivating.
Yeah, I'm like, so cool things about it. It's a non-stretch model.
It was that interview we did the week before release, right?
Yeah, something like that. And so it's a non-stretch model, but it's gonna hopefully have, one of the cool things it's gonna have is the outboard refueling pods on it, so you can support special operations aircraft, which is like probe and drogue stuff, which means you can also possibly refuel anything with a probe and drogue, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but it would be really cool to see like the UH-60 mod being used with it, because that is the traditional setup for it. On top of that, I'm curious to see if it's going to have the SISO station in the back, in the back of the cockpit because it's have a flight engineer back there. There's a CISO, a combat systems officer that works the FLIR ball, which is not a targeting pod and it doesn't laze. So don't get that out of everybody's minds. It doesn't laze. It's there for FLIR and forward-looking infrared. Also, the MC-130s have a terrain following radar capability in them, to where if anybody flew the Strike Eagle and they used a terrain following radar on it, and how it was able to do that crazy stuff, like the Herc
Terrifying.
will be able to do that as well. Hopefully, and there's some other systems on it that would be interesting to see how they're integrated or represented, because there's a loads ton more that aircraft can do, that is not suitable for the public. But I will say, I will challenge everybody. If they want to know what a special operations MC-130 can do, read about Task Force Normandy. I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm just going to say Task Force Normandy about that. And that's why I'm excited about the MC-130 for sure, if that comes out.
Thank you for explaining. I just got a message in that Jimmy has a soapbox. He
Hot
found
off the
he wants
press.
he wants to stand on a soapbox.
I do want to stand on a soapbox. So one thing that we've recently heard is DCS goes where the money is, right? So if you guys like this cargo style or non-combat related aircraft, you need to put your money where your mouth is, right? If you want someday like a KC-130 or anything out there, you need to start buying these other modules. Or if you want the AC-130 one day, you need to start investing in this. You can't just sit back and say, I want. You have to start investing in the ecosystem that you want it in. And if you like this and you want to see different things that are not fast pointy nose jets, we need to start as a community supporting things that are not fast pointy nose jets. So
I think it's part of the ecosystem. You're right. They are going to develop where the money's at.
Yep.
I hope more people put money into these kind of modules, because it makes it a more cohesive ecosystem. I like
more immersive, and it gives us more options for fun, right? It's like Iron Mike said, like my favorite module is the one I can have, right?
Yeah.
That guy's a prophet. That guy's a prophet.
I'm just going to warn you guys. I just got had trouble recording data warning pop up on my screen. So
I know how to
hopefully
fix
this doesn't create issues like the WAGs episode.
Yeah.
We almost lost that episode. We thought we did.
God, I had a mental breakdown over that. I'm so glad we were able to save
your boy knows how to read.
Thank you.
Thank you. I could swear it was literally just today where I said, "Did you see what I just read?" And you're like, "I can't read."
No, I said, "You assume I can read?"
Yeah, and now you're like, "Your boy knows how to read."
I did. I
have said, this is probably one of the most commonly said statements about Jimmy, is that he has a special relationship with words.
So I have a question before we start wrapping it up. After the soapbox of, buy it if you like it, or if you want to branch out, do you guys think that it's worth purchasing? If somebody hasn't purchased it yet, would you recommend people spend money on it?
One, yeah, buy all the modules so that ED has more money, and then they make more modules. So buy everything. No, realistically, if you know what you're getting into, if you want to mess around with a much more systems heavy, checklist heavy, multi-crew heavy platform that's not supersonic shooting missiles and guns and rockets, if that's kind of something you want to get into, if you want to just be able to get into the more flight simmy style of flying but still do it in a DCS world, absolutely, it's perfect for that. Absolutely. If that's not what you're looking for, then it's going to sit in your hangar and collect dust.
Pretty fair. For me, my answer is always going to be yes, because it's my favorite aircraft. But
the look you just pulled on your face when you said that needs to be clipped. That needs to be clipped. We're 1 hour and 9 minutes in. Clip that shit. C-130.
but God. For me, I would say that it needs to have the right environment to fly it. And then if you like affecting it's so a right environment in the sense of like having it integrated properly into a server. But if you like enabling the fight in a different way than just dropping bombs, it's worth it, because one of the coolest things that I have seen in our community since its release was like the delineation between like the combat pilots and the Hercules pilots is kind of like, and the support logistics pilots is kind of started to happen. And like Blackbird started that thread, like the FedEx like shipping request thread.
What did Free call himself? The Free Shipping Express?
The free shipping company. Yeah. But like, and like seeing that, and then watching people be like, hey, we need bombs, we need missiles, can you guys bring that? And then put the request up. And now there's Hercules pilots fighting over bringing stuff forward for everybody. And then it's not just that, but it's the gratitude that the combat arms guys are showing to the Hercules pilots and be like, God, we were like almost out of Mavericks. Thank you so much for bringing those Mavericks up. Thanks for seeing that we needed
war
Mavericks,
works, man.
And it's so cool to watch that happen. And like, it gives me warm fuzzies knowing that, because that's just the tip of the iceberg what the Herc can do. And like I said, I can really see in the future like Herc specific campaigns where like you have to do humanitarian aid and things like that, because that's really what that aircraft is all about. And yeah, so I think it's worth it if you would want to experience DCS in a different way. So if you like the Chinook, you'll love the Herc.
It's a good way to put it. It's like a fast Herc.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. I think it's worth it for everybody, because if you like DCS, at some point you like digital aviation, and it's a complete departure from the traditional DCS that we have had. Whether you're single player, whether you're multiplayer, whether you're fast pointy nose jet, whether you're a helicopter guy, I think it's worth it because it is extremely well done. It's modeled well. It flies well. It has integration into so many different environments. And, you know, if you're by yourself or with the homies, I think it's worth getting, because it is such a departure from what we are used to having that it is, I think, worth getting. That's my opinion.
I would like to throw another shout out. I just want to say thanks to the guys at CSG3 for hosting a fan flight with a whole bunch of our Half a Hooligan guys. That was super fun the other night. Thanks, guys. It was badass. Another thing we need to talk about before we wrap up: merch.
So with the growth of the podcast and with the starting of the LLC for numerous reasons and things like that from us, we want to start producing things. And it's mainly to pay for the podcast. And we're trying to do this without creating a Patreon, or trying to do this without like a members only group to where, you know, you can only see certain episodes from us and things like that. Because that's just not who we are. But
We're
instead we want to create we
No
want to create a
paywall.
way for everybody to
No pay to win.
help us support this podcast, because as the production's increased and as the giveaways increase and the things that we like to do, I mean, it's realistically open book. It's costing us probably about $300 to $500 a month to keep this running. And we're fortunate enough to be able to afford it, but it'll be nice to help offset that so we can do more stuff for everybody. And so we're talking about doing merch. So what we would like to do is hear what everybody would like. We're thinking shirts. We already have a bunch of sticker packs that we're going to start selling out once we figured out how to sell the stuff properly without getting IRS'd. But
Without getting IRS'd.
so but I have a company, I have a friend who has a company that does shirts, stickers, and patches. So I think we're going to start there with that. But, you know, so let us know what you guys want on shirts. Obviously the High Alpha Hooligans logo, I was thinking about putting maybe some other stuff on there, but yeah, so merch is coming after the beginning of the year. And let us know what you guys want to see, and, you know, what we need to bring out to invest in that sense.
Yeah, and if we can get selling lots of merch and we can start making lots of money, then we can do High Alpha Hooligans bomber jackets.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's got like
Yeah.
a leather bomber jacket.
Yeah. The have
Ooh.
a Hooligans logo on the back.
God, that would be so cringely awesome.
It would be cringe. Speaking of cringe, we are planning on being at Flight Sim Expo in June. We'll talk more about it in the future. But when you said cringe, it just the thought of you in a flight suit with a blue fighter pilot helmet that says press on it. That's Fifi's plan going in.
Yeah. That's going to be our
so-
first live. It's going to be our first live recording. So if you guys want to come out and hang out with us live, and maybe we'll find a casting couch to sit on.
Podcasting couch, dude.
We'll yeah, come hang out with us. We're going to be at the Flight Sim Expo in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
And if any of our listeners out there want to create some more awesome artwork for us, Fifi in a flight suit with flip-flops wearing a blue helmet that says press
Big
would
old
be,
microphone.
would be great. We can make that into a sticker. And then you can get one from us at Flight Sim Expo.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You can get the sticker, and then we'll have him dressed that way, and you can get a picture of you with the sticker with Fifi.
Science.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So to recap some admin stuff, thank you to all the sponsors, Fox 3, Luck, ED, as all our partners. Our partners. I said partners. Sign up for the dogfight tournament. Don't be a loser.
Yeah.
Sign up for the dogfight tournament.
Yeah, don't hate kids.
Don't hate kids. Sign up for the dogfight tournament. And keep an eye out for the Christmas episode coming up. You don't want to miss it.
That's
I'm excited about that one.
You don't want to miss it.
You will never see DCS the same again.
Yeah. You'll never see us the same again.
All right, Jimmy. It's your time to shine.
Oh, dad advice.
Dad advice.
Guys.
Oh.
So we have we got the weekly poop and we got the dad advice. So this is a slight departure from the weekly dad advice, going into the the elderly stately gentleman advice. So as you age, the body becomes decrepit and old, and you get new medications.
Yeah, that checks.
So the VA gave me a new medicine, keep me balanced and everything, and that thing constipated me so badly. But like I took it for like a couple days, and I was like, dude, this thing is so good. But then I was like, I called the pain management lady, and I was like, dude, I got so constipated, and she's like, well, we can go back to the other one. I was like, she's like, well, your surgery's coming up, and you only have to deal with it until the surgery. I was like, I know, but the other one doesn't work. And she's like, you're at the max. I was like, she's like, well, have you tried prune juice? I was like, no. She's like, well, go try prune juice. If that doesn't work, I'll give you a prescription. I was like, okay. So I went and I got prune juice, and I didn't Google this or anything. And someone got like the big 1 gallon thing of prune juice. I just started drinking prune juice. So a healthy amount, for anybody who wonders, is 6 to 8 ounces of prune juice if you're constipated. I drink like a gallon in a day. So dude, I cleansed like.
Thank you to our sponsor and partners for
years
making this episode happen.
Years worth of freaking gummy clusters, because like. Oh my gosh. So, as you get old and you get new medicines, if they back you up, go to prune juice.
This is stately, gentlemanly advice.
Oh my god. Thank you, Ocean Spray.
Yeah. Thank you to our new sponsor, Ocean Spray.
I told you guys were gonna like it. I didn't prep them on this one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
I got tears.
Wow.
Oh,
I don't know what else to say on that.
I'm speechless.
You're
Our
welcome.
new sponsors, Ocean Spray and Moen Toilets.
You're welcome.
You get Charmin in there too. Jimmy, I'm gonna buy you a bidet.
Oh my gosh, dude. That was a brutal 18 hours.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
18 hours. Jimmy was in labor for 18 hours.
Dude.
Doing Lamaze breathing.
If you ever need to lose like a quick 8 pounds, like, yo. I felt great the next day, though.
We're done. Rifle kazoo.